take just a few minutes and try to explain a shift before we get there. In order to do that, I want to start by sharing something that was said to me not once, but at least 1,000 times in the first 6 months I was your pastor. It's almost like pleading with me. Well, Pastor, just don't take our outreach away. And every time that was said, I just kind of shook my head. And I began to ask, well, I wonder what they've heard about me. I wonder what kind of pastor they think I am. And then I thought the worst thing anybody could think. Well, I wonder what kind of pastors they've had in the past. My friends, I am not here. I'm not here to take away a ministry. Betty, it is an honor to stand out there and hand out popcorn, and you put up with me and run in my mouth when I'm supposed to be working handing out popcorn. Phil Robbins, it's not my job to tell you how to run the backpack ministry. It's my job to empower you, support you, nurture and care for you, and cheerlead you and Betty along the way. Now, Nancy, it's not my job to tell you what colors to put on the table. Rick, that's what I know. That's the reason why I don't understand. Rick, we had this conversation the first week that I knew and you knew that some nut named Robert was going to come up here and be the pastor. And I said, dude, you're the director of music. And he still doesn't understand. He still thinks he has to ask me when they're going to have a cantata and what they're going to sing. And is that... No. What? Golly. You see, he's worried about me stepping on their toes, and y'all are worried about me taking something away. So we're in the middle of a huge change. And all I'm trying to do is what you've asked me to do. This ain't my first rodeo. This is my 5th rodeo, and I'm trying to learn how to ride the bulls that are in this corral without getting thrown off. So we're making a shift and a change, but the shift and the change is right here in the book of Discipline. Now, maybe I misunderstand it. That's quite possible. The church council, notice this word is not administrative board. An administrative board, everyone that I have worked with, has always been about one thing. They're about guarding the gate, watchdogging, making sure we got enough money and we follow all the rules. That's good. We need that. But if all we ever look at is those things, we miss the rest of the story. In other words, I'm not taking away the administrative board. I'm adding to, so that you don't have to worry about your ministry being taken away from you. I'm trying to empower you because it is God who calls you to the ministry, not the pastor. Now listen to this. The church council shall provide for planning and implementing a program of nurture, outreach, witness, and resources in the local church. Notice what it says. It shall provide for planning. It never says that we're a group of people who gather in a room and make all the decisions and plan and tell you what to do. That's the way of the world, not the way of the kingdom. Now, it may not be what you want. And so after the first couple of meetings to the church council, it'll be clear that you may not like my style of leadership. That's okay. You wouldn't be the first. But you see, if we're going to be the church, and if we're going to be viable and we're going to grow, all we have to do is look to the successes in the community. And then let some other people that know how to come in to the field that you have plowed. I'm telling you, there's more low-hanging fruit in Big Stone Gap than in any congregation I've ever served. And I just don't understand what the problem is. I think it's confidence. I think it's confidence. And I think it's fear that somebody's trying to do some kind of a hostile takeover. Well, now, there may be groups out there trying. But I'm telling you, that's not where my heart is. I've got enough to do without taking your job away from you, and me doing your job and mine too, so that I think I might look better. And all that'd make me look like is a fool. Fool. So understand something. What I'm trying to do in reorganizing is to get more people at the table to equip your planning for ministry. I'm trying to get more people at the table as those who will pray and nurture and support. In other words, Coach, how many times did you dress out and go on the field during a game? You never did. Not as coach. Well, it's a simple lesson. The church council's role is not to dress out and go play your positions for you. It is to equip you and nurture you and to make sure you have the resources and to coach you and cheerlead you and applaud you. That's the role, and that's what I'm up to. Now, it goes on here, and it says that it shall also provide for the administration of its organization. You see, I'm trying to get the first things first, because you cannot grow a church looking at money. You cannot grow a church with a balanced budget. You grow a church by making disciples of Jesus Christ. You grow a church by doing the crazy thing. Yes, I said crazy. The crazy thing that Jesus Christ did. He gave us a new covenant, and He broke the bread and He blessed it. He took the cup and lifted it to the Father, and He blessed it. And then what did He do with it? He gave it to His disciples because He trusted them. And if there's anything lacking in the United Methodist Church, it's trusting one another that God has called us uniquely and is equipping us to work together as one body. And so that's what this is all about. It's what's clearly written in the book of Discipline. I think I can support it with Scripture. But at the end of the day, here's my promise to you. I will not take your ministries away from you. And the one that God is calling you to now, I will not tell you you can't do it. But if you feel called, you better speak up. You better speak up and come see me. And I will help equip you and stand with you. But the only way you're going to know that you can trust me with that is to give it a whirl. Now we're going to read some names. And these are the names of the people that said yes. And I don't know that they know fully what they've gotten themselves into. But again, if you feel called to help with this, you make sure you see me right after this worship service. Because I am the chair of one thing only in this church. And that's the chair of nominations for ministry. And if God's called you, I'm going to nominate you. But I won't do it for you. Bill, come and read the names.
the names of the various chairs and members of the committees. The Church Council Chair, Diane Botts. Administrative officers, the Staff Parish Chair is not elected, they have to elect that one. Peggy Beverly, Lana Prater, Sandra Marshall, Donna Mahan. Finance Chair, Phil Robbins. Members, Reuben Allman, Skip Skinner, Kathy Gallion, Lloyd Robinette. Trustees Chair, Chris Higgins. Members, Martha Spurlock, David Shoup, Pat Bowden, Alberta Mitchell, Spencer Quesenberry. Excuse me. Discipling Ministries, Discipleship, David Shoup. Small Groups, Katie Shoup. Spiritual Development, Martha Spurlock. Acts of Compassion, Kim Parsons. Director of Music, Rick Gallion. Counseling Offices, Pastor Robert Burlingham, Lay Leader Bill Cole. Delegate to Annual Conference, Alberta Mitchell. Other committees, Nominations and Leadership Committee. Chairperson is the pastor, regardless of who it is at the time. Members, Jan Zentmeyer, Mary Beth Allen, Donald Shorter, Christy Smith, Pat Bowden, Susan Herndon. The Memorial Fund Committee, Chairperson, Donna Mahan. Members, Kim Parsons, Mary Beth Allen, and Jackie Manus. That's the leaders of our church.
Okay, so here's another piece just right quick. I'm 18 months in. We've had maybe not as many meetings as you used to. But when we have an administrative board meeting, we're lucky to have 6 to 8 people. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. And so please understand, I know that there are some offices such as historian and other things. I know that what we don't have on this list so far is the members of the various ministries. We'll get those added. But I want you to know my perspective. And again, it's appointment time. You may like me, but I may not be the right guy. You see, I am called to empower you to be a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I am called to empower you and to go forth 2 by 2. And it takes time to get that done, because trust me, I know that when God called me to this, I had every excuse in the world. And when God called me to this, every Sunday morning, this is more information you want to know, but I was sick to my stomach every Sunday for 3 years. It was one of the best weight loss programs I've ever gone on in my life, was climbing into the pulpit. So please understand, I may not have sympathy for you, but I have great empathy. And I am honored, deeply honored, to have been embraced as quickly as I've been embraced. Would you bow your heads with me, please? Father, we see some of this going on in our world, and I give you thanks and praise that you patiently listen to your disciples have a conversation about who among them was the greatest. And I give you thanks and praise that you gave us some directions. That the greatest among us is the one who serves. Father, I believe that we're called to serve you. I believe that we're called to serve you and to learn how to minister and to love one another as you love and minister. You know that I've been praying over these names that Bill has read. And you know that I've also been praying over this congregation and the bishop and the cabinet of the Holston Conference of the United Methodist Church. Pour out a spirit of humility on us all. Pour out a spirit of courage on each of us, that we might rise up boldly, proclaiming the name that is above every name. But as we proclaim, Father, especially as a church council, may we remind us and help us to remember that the church council is called to serve you and to love the members of this congregation. I ask that in the days and the weeks to come, that the church council might learn to trust one another as much as you trust us with the sharing of your gospel. In the name of Christ, I pray. And all of God's children say, thank you.